Okay, we are recording.
Roll call. Ann?
Here.
Okay.
Yes.
Frank?
Here.
Lois?
Here.
Tina?
Here.
Jen?
Here.
Julia? And me. Okay, approval of the January 21st minutes of 2001. And that was a Zoom meeting. Is there any changes or corrections? No? Do we have approval of those minutes?
I'll make a motion for it.
Okay. Second motion? Okay.
I just noticed that I got January 25th and on the agenda January
20. It was the 21st.
Was it the 21st?
Yeah, that was the day of our Zoom meeting.
Okay.
No,
Right, just
21st was a Thursday, so the 25th is right.
Oh, it's the 25th?
Yeah, 21st was a Thursday.
Oh, so you were right. Okay. Approval of January 21st. Oh, and I was looking. Okay. Audience of citizens by Zoom. We're going to have Donna Bove with us.
Julia,
Right.
do you need
Hi, Donna.
audience of citizens?
You tell me when you're ready.
What do you?
Do you need Donna's address for the minutes?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Donna, just state your address before you go, and then you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So Donna Bove, 85 Steepleview Drive.
Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? All right. Okay, so hey, thanks so much for allowing myself and especially Tom and Victoria to come to your meeting tonight and share all the exciting developments on the Berlin Community and Senior Center. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun, very exciting. There's a couple of things that I just wanted to be able to express to you. First, that Parks and Rec, the commission, and I know the department is really looking forward to meeting and working with all of you to move this center, a very needed center, forward. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of fun. Last Thursday night, I met with Public Building Commission, who really has had the responsibility to hire the architect, which again, Tom will introduce his firm and him and Victoria to you. So they've hired the architect to get a concept and design going, which has been done. And also to work within the requirements of the grant. If you remember, Joe Arasimowicz, we were able to get $750,000 grant as seed money to start the process going. And so there's been a lot of good work, but because of COVID, obviously we've all been on hold. And now we want to get things going, get out to the public. Many people have seen the design that have been on Facebook, but there are so many others, and maybe some of yourselves that haven't seen the design. It's pretty cool. The video, if they show it to you tonight, is just awesome. I think Tom's firm has done just an exceptional job meeting the Parks and Rec statement of need, but also your statement of need. And I'm sure you'll have some comments, and I'm sure Tom and Victoria are willing to listen and, you know, possibly change the design somewhat to obviously accommodate your thoughts. You guys are the specialists on the senior side, that's for sure. When I met with the Public Building Commission, I asked them to put forward and to start a subcommittee, because what's happened right now is we have the Public Building Commission working on the design, and then we have Parks and Rec that created a statement of need, and the Senior Center that created a statement of need. And we've, kind of operated independently. It's now time that we gear up and work all together, and we all have different specialties, different talents, along with the staff of all those areas in town. We really need the staff with us as well. There's a lot to be done in order with the end result to be go to referendum, which will have to happen at some point, and to be able to present a final design, the costs, all the benefits, any issues that there may be, but to the town, so that all the townspeople can really make an informed decision when going to the voting booth. And I'm very hopeful that we're able to pass this thing. There's a lot of good comments on Facebook. Again, we haven't had the public forums. People are really excited about it. And they've offered comments, and to Tom's benefit, he's actually taken some of those comments and already made some changes. So we have a lot of work ahead of us to get to that referendum point. It would be a subcommittee of various people. I know Barbara will probably talk to you about that going forward, but then we need, you know, even commission members that have not been in, that won't be necessarily named on the subcommittee, but will be very important pieces to gathering the data that we need. We want to go out and visit other towns that have implemented a community and senior center. Newtown just did it and they just opened up. I've seen it online. It's just awesome. Tom will tell you other towns that have done it. Newington, of course, opened up their community center. They have a separate senior center, but Mansfield has a community and senior center. And we can learn a lot of lessons of things that maybe didn't go as well for them and maybe help us in the process. Talk to them about their services that they offer, the cost, and of course the funding for operating it, which will be a key element, as we all know, in Berlin. You know, how did they sell it to their town for successful referendum? Because that's what we want. We're all for this. We want to move forward. It's just going to be awesome. And I'm going to steal the phrase that Barbara has used, and she's absolutely right. It's going to be the gem of Berlin. And it's really, really going to bring this town together with all the different age groups, from youngest to the oldest. No one can do it alone. And so we're really looking for all your help. And I know we can all do it. I think it will take us a while. I would, you know, again, right now, at least looking forward, I think that maybe we're poised for an April 2022 referendum. I don't know that we'll have all the information together for a November referendum because we really want to make sure the public understands all factual data and let them make their best informed decision. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to work with everybody. I know our Park and Rec Commission members are feeling the same way. Tomorrow night, I'm going to address the town council and ask them to actually name the subcommittee and to get us going. So I look forward to working with everybody. And Barbara, I've worked with and gotten to know her over the past few months, and it's going to be pretty awesome. Definitely, definitely. So with that, I don't know if anyone has any questions for me. I think you'll have more questions for Tom and Victoria and maybe Barbara, but I'd be glad to stay on the line if I can answer anything.
Thank you, Donna.
Does anybody have any questions for Donna? Nobody has questions, Donna. So if you want to go play,
okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Donna.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Okay, I have the agenda. Tina, would you mind if I move your report to the end of the meeting?
Yeah, that's fine. My report isn't much.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do that because I would like to do the senior center community. I'm going to do the housing at the end too, but I'm going to do the senior center community center now so that we can have Tom and Victoria talk, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions. Okay, Tom and Victoria.
Great.
You're up.
So do we want to start with the video?
Yeah, we probably should start with the video in case people have questions, right?
Has
anyone not seen the video?
You saw it?
You saw it, Lois?
I don't think I saw.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
let's do
yeah.
the video.
Yeah, because that was, yeah, originally we were just going to have Tom answer any questions you guys had, but.
So the video is actually easily accessible on Tom's website. I don't know if you folks have a computer or have internet access at home, but Jen can give you the link to enter it. And actually Tina could email you the link, and then you could just click on the link and go right to the video and see the video. It's great that we'll be able to watch it this evening. It'll be hard probably for you to see it on the screen, but we can listen to it and talk about it. I recommend you, when you have the time to sit in front of a laptop and watch it. There's a lot of information there.
So Nadia, just so you're aware, I'm gonna play the video off our town website, so you actually won't see it on the Zoom, but I think you've already probably seen it on the town website, so just bear with us while we do this.
They'll be able to see it here, right?
Yeah, it's on there. Can you see it all?
You see that? Can you see it?
Okay.
Okay. I just want you to know that I did meet with Donna Bove from the Park and Rec, and we have a couple of things that we need to do. So I'm going to have Tom. Does anyone have any? Tom, go ahead. Do you have any? I don't know if anyone has any questions for you. Anyone have any questions for Tom?
hear what Tom has to say.
Okay.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say, I'll stand in the middle. I just wanted to say thanks for having me back. It's been a year since I think it's over a year since we last met.
Yeah.
And in the last year, we've been able to get a lot of things accomplished. We've refined the proposed design and added a lot of elements. But we've gotten to the point where we needed to do public information meetings. We really need to solicit as much information as we can from the community. And the community just hasn't been ready to have groups gather to see the project and talk about it. But it looks like we're going to be there in the coming months. The state is changing its guidelines, and we'll be able to hold public information meetings. So it's very important that not just you, but senior patrons come out, be informed about the design, speak about it, speak for it, and give us feedback that we can use to refine the proposed plans and elevations for the project. So if you have any ideas or questions, please don't hesitate to talk to me today or reach out to me through Tina or Jen, and we'll do our very best to incorporate those things. So thank you.
Questions for Tom?
Yeah, I got a question. With everything that's been going on with the pandemic and everybody's been impacted by everything, including the construction industry, now with the construction costs be percolating over to a higher bracket, whatever for the project. I mean, what it costs of lumber, cost of supplies, cost to build this thing. Are we under any kind of, threat that these costs are going to rise way up high?
Well, that's a great question. We're currently having a professional process put together based on concept design. If we were building it today, I would be very fearful.
Right.
There's a very rare spike in construction materials, and I'm sure many people have heard, because the demand for construction materials is very high and the supply is actually down. Over the pandemic, over the last year and change, a lot of developers and builders and municipalities have chosen not to do projects because of the uncertainty in the marketplace. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic and there's a renewed sense of confidence, people are undertaking their projects, and there's a huge rush of projects. In the same regard, over the pandemic, a lot of manufacturing companies slowed down or laid off workers because there was no demand for product or people couldn't come to work. So the amount of materials that are made has been significantly less, and the production capacity of many of these factories is less. So that now results in a unique upside down supply and demand chart. So in theory, this is a project that if it went to referendum, hypothetically in April of 2022, it probably wouldn't start construction until April of 2023. If it passes referendum successfully in April of 22, the project has to go out to bid, then it has to be designed and constructed. Maybe it could start in the fall of 2022, or realistically, it would potentially start in 23. So I suspect by then, manufacturing and production capacity would have caught up with the demand, and demand would come back down. Now, 2 years from now, there'll be escalation. So the price 2 years from now, compared to the price today, will be more, but I don't think it'll be driven by this unique market condition. That's a mouthful.
Thank you. The reason why I'm asking is because I needed a window put in my garage, and he's like 6 months out, and the price is whoop, there by my checkbook.
Through the roof. Probably better off getting that window custom made. Woodwork shop.
Pieces of plywood over it.
No, plywood costs double now too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, you answered my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm gonna have some questions.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
had some fun about a week ago and told people in my craft group that we were coming back and this was our opportunity. And here is the book again to look at the drawings. And I ended up with this.
All right. Well, let's go.
So I would like
Bring
to
it
share
on.
some of that with you. Since yeah. I'm one of the older kids in this group, by the way. The kitchen does not open specifically to the patio, which is going to make it kind of hard to get some stuff out there if you're having a little bit.
So what you're not seeing is that location, the grade is flat. So we can have a sidewalk or a connection to the patio. So you can go from the kitchen directly to the patio, or service can be from the kitchen through this community room and then into the patio. That's a good comment.
I have a question about all this pink, because in the key, the pink is the community center, but this is the upper level floor. So whose rooms are these?
So the entire building is a community center, right? And the senior center and the community share that space. Those are rooms that would be used primarily during the day as senior center activity spaces. And in the evenings can be used as multifunction space or meeting space for the community or community events. One of the unique things about quote unquote community centers is that a community center and a senior center have the same spaces: meeting rooms, cafe, lounge spaces, arts and crafts spaces, activity rooms. They have the same types of spaces. So a community center and senior center essentially can share the same infrastructure spaces. But what we found in many, many towns is that instead of building a senior center and a community center, they're now building a community/senior center because it works very well. Most of the time, what towns are realizing is that seniors in their community use the building heavily between the hours of 6, 7 in the morning to 2 to 3 in the afternoon. A lot of communities then realize that their centers are used by youth between the hours of 3 to 6, 3 to 5, after school programming, intergenerational programming. And then in the evenings, their senior and community centers are being used for, actual community groups, community events.
So what I'm hearing you say is that all this pink stuff is that way on one level, and the bottom level for the community center are the same size rooms in the same place, just used for a different function?
No, I'm saying they're the same rooms, but during the day, the senior programming would use those spaces. And in the evening, the community would use those spaces.
So these are multi-purpose rooms.
Just like this space. So those rooms you're talking about are very much like this room, except it's bigger and it can be split into 4 rooms instead of 2.
That answers one of the questions.
And when Tina and I and Debbie all talked about our statement of needs, we looked at, okay, how many rooms are currently in the senior center? How many rooms are currently in the community center? And we made sure that we both had enough rooms in this plan to continue to do what we want, because there are times when Tina's running an event and Debbie's running an event during the day, like the summer camp. So it's not always senior center in the morning, parks and rec at night. So we needed to make sure we had enough rooms that we could share at all times, basically.
But we're gonna make sure we have enough shelves for the books,
Of course.
because this does not show shelving. This shows tables.
Yeah, so the
In the
soft classroom or library that's adjacent to the entrance and cafe would actually be a soft room that would have bookshelves. It would have, room for periodicals, magazines, soft seating that can be moved around.
We're kind of talking about 1,500 to 2,000 books.
Okay. That's good. We can accommodate that.
I hope so. Because I have to keep them on the shelf for Tina.
Okay.
70,000 square feet. I think we can find room for 2,000 books.
Okay. All right, what else is on here? Oh, the ladies in the craft group wanted to know if a second elevator could be put in at the opposite end of the building. So you come in here, that's the elevator, correct? Yeah. And have another elevator here. So we actually can't put an elevator here because the lower level of the building only comes this far. It only comes up to the gym. So if you look at the lower level of the building, see where the gym is, and see where these stairs are. There's no lower level under that first part of the building. So the elevator is in the middle of the lower portion of the building. Tina has 777 people right now as members of the senior center. I have no idea how many they have down in Park and Rec, but I'm sure it's a good number. That can be very hard for seniors who are in wheelchairs, walkers, with canes, trying to move around. Because they can't get up and down the stairs. You won't see me drag my wheels up and down the stairs. Well, obviously, and we would use the elevator. If what you're saying is you don't believe one elevator cab is adequate, then we certainly can take a look at having 2 elevator cabs. But keep in mind that the majority of senior programming happens on one level at the upper floor, and remember, both floors are accessed from grade. And then the majority of the activity functions, gym, pool, fitness center, is at the lower level. So there will be times when seniors who are at the center will have to go downstairs for certain program events. That's okay.
But if you're coming in for aquatics therapy, you might just go in the entrance on the lower level.
That's correct.
Because the pool is closer to the door, so then you wouldn't have to go in the upper, walk to the elevator, and come down.
Park out here.
You could come in the entrance right next to the pool or right next to the fitness center.
One of the, which one? One of the pictures that I looked at showed one entrance exit to the gym. Did I not see something? Because certainly one exit's not, well, one entrance. You can get everybody in that you want to, but if somebody starts a fire, you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to get them out of there with only one.
No, at the lower level, there's 1, 2, 3 entrances to the gym, and then 2 more exits directly outside. So there's 5 access points.
Okay, works for me. The last time that I counted wheelchairs and walkers, not even canes, just the wheelchairs and walkers, was before COVID closed us down. Lois, I know, is a wheelchair, and so is Tina, is it? With the electric wheelchair? Vicky. So we have 2 wheelchairs, and that day I counted 12 walkers. Do we have enough handicap parking places to accommodate those people with a few extras for people who have not seen that equipment during COVID?
So the answer is yes. We actually will have significantly greater handicap spots than the code mandated amount. And we put those directly adjacent to the site. So you can see here at the front of the building, there's all handicap spots right next to the entrance. So you don't have to walk. And then the same happens down at the lower level. This whole front row is handicap spots. So there's, I don't have your exact count today. That's something we're working on as we get into the details. But we could easily have a dozen or more handicap parking spaces directly adjacent to the building.
I think that's probably needed. I really do.
And both entrances have a drop-off area. The senior center entrance will have a covered drop-off, so you can drive under, the overhang, and you can get out like at a hotel, right? Get out under the porte cochere and go into the building under protected conditions.
Considering that we are seniors, and as we age, we're getting less able. I think this is something that you probably have already addressed, and I just have not had time to look at it. Grab bars in the showers in the locker rooms, and the rail grab bars in the hallways.
So all of the hallways will have a tangible chair rail at the hall level, and then the bathrooms will have showers and handicap accessible showers, all of which have grab bars.
Okay, because that's important. What else is there?
Keep in mind that this facility will be state of the art as it regards to compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. So everything is dead flush. We've got extra wide lobbies and corridors so that people walking and people in, let's say with walkers and wheelchairs can pass by each other. Mm-hmm. And that goes beyond just the physical challenges. There'll also be auditory aids and visual aids for people that have are hard of hearing, deaf, or visually challenged.
Has anybody considered a media room rather than perhaps a computer in one room, the TV sets for things like Wi-Fi, just putting all the electronics in one place?
So that's actually not super viable anymore. Senior centers, community centers used to be designed with like a dedicated computer classroom. We're trending away from that now. All of the rooms in this center will be technology enabled. So it's highly possible that each space will have display screens, audio setup, we'll have projectors with screens, potentially. The whole building will have Wi-Fi access. So if you have a laptop or a computer, you'll be a part of the programming. So if you're taking a computer classroom, you can take it in this room or that. If we're having movie night, it can happen in the big room, or it can happen in a little meeting room, or in the soft classroom.
Are most of the rooms going to have removable or movable
like this
positions so that they can be opened up if there's something special coming in town?
The multifunction rooms here absolutely will, and these classrooms here will. So they'll, as well as I believe the game room and the two game rooms. So there is a lot of flexibility in the programming itself.
Okay. Some of us come here from this. Is there going to be a place near the kitchen where we can sit and have our lunch? Doesn't look to me like the cafe is big enough for anything more than just kind of come in and have a coffee.
Great. So the cafe is a socialization space.
Right.
And it's really nothing more than a glorified counter.
Yep.
But it's directly adjacent to the kitchen. so that depending on your programming, you could have a snack or cookies, or it could be used as catering or pre-function space for other activities. However, meals are the sort of the heart of most senior programming, and those would be held in the multifunction room. The multifunction room is sized so that you can have up to 300 at tables and chairs, 250 to 300 in a big event.
You know, won't get it's too many to go.
No, of course.
But we can rent it out and make some revenue.
But it
Well,
could
that's
be
a good
rented
thing.
out.
Okay.
But more importantly, on a daily basis, that room can be the lunch room, or this room if you have a large attended lunch. Maybe if it's maybe if it's a seasonal Thanksgiving dinner, now you can use 3 spaces. The nice thing about that setup is every day at lunch, this room can be set up for lunch. And this room can be used for an exercise class or Tai Chi or whatever, or educational programs. So you don't have to, the key to that is the senior center administration doesn't have to break down their lunchroom so that they can then have educational programs. It allows for much more flexibility. The kitchen itself will be a full commercial kitchen that would allow 3 different types of services. Warming, it could be used as a warming kitchen, let's say for Meals on Wheels service. It could be used as a catering kitchen, so it could be used to take meals, prep them, and serve them. Or it could be used as a full service production kitchen, so that meals can be made here. A lot of centers throughout the state, especially when they've gone to a new facility, they've gone to the full preparation of meals on a daily basis. Senior center attendance is driven heavily, and there's a direct correlation between the level of meals that are provided at the center and access to it, as well as the pricing. In Darien, we did their center. They have a full-time chef that cooks a meal every day for the seniors. It's a subsidized meal. I don't know what the exact price is. It's a few dollars. And the way it works there is they've created this unique program where the chef is actually a municipal employee, and all of the subsidy goes just to pay for just the food product. But their attendance is through the roof, because every senior in the community knows that they can get one full solid meal, and it's a full meal every day for the $3 or $4 or whatever it is. If seniors know they're getting that meal prepped, a lot of seniors, they're coming to the center not just for the meal, but now they're coming for a program before lunch and having lunch, and then maybe staying to horse around and play cards, or see who's coming and going before they head home to do other functions. So while that's not a service that you have right now, we want to make sure that the center has the ability to grow over the next 50 years and have the capacity to do that if the community so chooses in the future. Additionally, this is a resource, this community center, it's a resource for the town to have larger type events that are served by food or catering. So the kitchen wants to be able to accommodate that. As Jen mentioned, centers like West Hartford use their community center as a revenue generator. So if people in the community want to rent a hall and a kitchen to have maybe one room for a baby shower, or maybe 4 rooms for I don't know, big family reunion or dance, that's an opportunity for the community to potentially generate revenue.
Does the, I know the food pantry is over here because of the doors to be able to unload and load up stuff.
Yeah.
But it's an awfully far away piece.
So the food pantry is a community service, which is part of Human Services. And that food pantry isn't the kitchen's pantry. That food pantry is the community food pantry for, that's correct, for people that have a need of those services. And
which is kind of,
one of the reasons Human Services is located on that end of the building is so it's discreet, is so that people that have a need of either counseling or human services or the food pantry can come to the center, get their services, and then go without having to come through the building and feel maybe sensitive about the fact that they're using those services. But in the same regard, it's located in the center. So a lot of our seniors, if they're at the center, they could also take part of those services.
So Jen, that would replace what we have now as the town food pantry.
it would relocate. Yeah. Right now we have food at Town Hall where they run the pantry out of on a weekly basis, and our overflow is at Pistol Creek. This would be big enough to house everything.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
And it would put Jamie and Doug in the same building as me, Tina, and Debbie.
From a volunteer works there, that would be a big help.
Yeah.
We definitely need more space.
Yeah, when we visited Bloomfield,
It's in that building too.
They're right, which you did that building.
Yeah.
And
We
they're
did not do Bloomfield,
Oh, you
but
didn't?
I have visited Bloomfield.
right, and they have a big room for the food.
I'll quit. Barbara's turn, or somebody else's.
Oh, you're done?
I'm done.
Okay. I have some things. Of course, you know the parking is my main issue. So when I go to the cancer center up in Plainville, all the sidewalk in the parking lot, all down the length of that building is all handicap parking. So that they can take you in your wheelchair right to the level of the sidewalk and wheel you right into the building. I don't see that here. I see too many bushes is what I see. I think that we need to have more parking closer to the building.
Well, we'll have as much parking directly adjacent to the building as the perimeter of the building will allow. Keep in mind, these are concept drawings. So a lot of the specific details will be worked out after, but we anticipate flush access from curb to sidewalk. As I mentioned, significant amounts of handicap parking. So significant amounts of handicap parking right along the curb line at the top level. There'll be some over here and then across the back of this entrance.
At the lower level, right?
At the lower level, as well as ease of access for more parking. The goal is to get as much of the parking as close to the entrances as possible. That's why there's multiple entrances
On the flat.
as well. On the flat.
As you can.
That's correct.
And that should be the upper and the lower levels.
That's correct.
Yeah, because that's been such a problem where we are now, you know?
Understood. It's a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about coming to this center, the residents of Percival Heights use all the parking on one side right near the entrance. And then you have to park for the most part on the other side up the hill. It's a good walk. This is significantly different.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure that it's all level to the sidewalk, because I found that very good when I was at Plainville to see that it was all flush to the sidewalk. And it should be both levels with that also. Because I told you this before, and you said it's only a drawing concept, but I really don't see the need for that much foliage in the front.
Well, planning and zoning will require we have a certain amount of plantings in the parking lot. And then Public Works is going to come and tell us, you got to take all that out of there. Yeah. No curbs, We just wanted painted asphalt
Yeah,
so we can drive our plows across it.
that's right. And I can understand that, you know, they need to have as much access and the people have to have as much access too, you know? They can't be up and down the curb. We've had that little experience here in town with our center and now it's all changed and, you know, we want to make sure we do this right. I did want to mention this Southington. I know this is the housing, but they're all flat too and close to the building. I saw this in the paper. I said, that's such a good visual to see that, you know? And I did think the lobby was a little much. Am I the only one that thinks that? Do you think that's too open? Do we need, could we use that space better elsewhere? You know, as you come into the lobby?
Again, keep in mind that the renderings, it's a concept and it could get a little smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is you want a pre-function or entrance space that has lots of room where people can sit, there's soft seating. You're gonna have access to the senior center administration. There'll be a counter there. Really need to have the ability to, you know, interact. You need enough space.
It just looks so overwhelming, you know. I can understand the counter when you come in, that's important. You have to have somebody someone there to check you in, but it just looks so, I just think it should be better utilized.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's only my opinion. I want to know what anybody else thinks because we're trying to make as much use of our space as we can, you know, practically.
Understood.
I know from experience at the community center, people congregate at the front door and we don't even have a lobby. People walk in and see each other as they're walking out. And at times there's, you know, 4 people right at the front door that you can't even get in and out. So I like the idea of having a little bit more of an open area. Because I think when you do come in, you know, if someone's at the counter talking to, you know, whoever's working the front desk at the senior center and you have to wait or something, at least you have, you know, a place to hang out and wait as opposed to just standing there too.
Well, that was my own opinion. I didn't know how anybody else felt. And then I felt like the upper level, looking down on this, how will this be protected, this area here? This is just so open.
Oh, that's actually there's a rail there.
Yeah.
This rail has glass panels in it. So there's a rail assembly there. We've just made it very clean so that you can see through it, but the rail itself could be anything. It could be a half wall. It doesn't necessarily have to be a rail, but we want to be able to, you know, look down into the space.
Yeah, but high enough to be a protected area.
Oh yeah, it's 42 inches. It's code mandated guardrail so that nobody could go over, so to speak.
I worked in a school that had this situation, and the book bags and everything used to end up over. I just don't want people.
Yeah, you know those school kids.
I know. So that's what made
it. You know what the seniors are? The seniors are even more, right?
You think they're going to throw the book bags? Let me see. There was one other thing too. I'm trying to figure out where is the elevator on the lower level? Is this the elevator or is it here?
The elevator is actually when you come in the lower lobby. The elevator is in this core. We have it. The doors are supposed to be here. We haven't changed this rendering since we've updated the design and located the elevator. So
okay, so you would come in
and straight ahead would
right
be the elevator.
Here
no, the entrance.
The entrance is here.
The entrance is right behind us. So this view is taken as if you entered that lower level door. So you
enter and go to the elevator.
Go right to the elevator.
And then upstairs. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was, Tom?
Yeah.
I had a question. Is this the bathroom set up here?
Yes. Yes, it is. Sorry.
We're going to have ADA toilets?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's
With
a rule.
brand new
See,
construction, there are,
Senior height.
Yeah.
with
Comfort height.
brand new construction, it has to be 100% ADA compliant.
Yeah.
Your signs on your office doors will have braille or raised lettering. I mean, everything will be top-notch ADA compliant. I mean, they have no choice with new construction. There's codes to follow.
Where are the toilets on the lower level?
So
I don't know.
they're all in here.
They're in there. Okay.
And actually, there's two more over here.
All right, and that's.
They're over here next to the lobby. Yeah.
All right, and the pool's here, and then you'll be able to use these for changing.
So what we've actually done is while we have a core of rest areas at the center of the building, right here, on the upper floor, we actually have toilets and human services, and we have toilets on this wing. So that if you're down at one end of the building, you don't have to go all the way down to the center of the building.
Right.
There's, there are toilets in each wing.
Okay, that's what I wondered.
That's important for us as we age.
Yeah.
Travel distance wants to be shorter,
That's
right?
right. And you have a walker or a cane and it takes you longer, I want to ask about the gym. Well, first I want to ask about the track. Do other buildings have indoor tracks or do they have outdoor tracks?
Some buildings have indoor walking tracks. That was something that was in the statement of need. And a lot of seniors rely on walking for fitness and exercise. So the idea that we would have an indoor walking track at the upper level so that patrons in the community could use that. It's directly off the upper level game rooms and lobby. And then you could walk and look down on the activities that are happening below. It also is a resource for the community so that when there's youth events going on, parents can use that space as an observation level.
And it's not your outdoor 6-lane track size. It's
Exactly.
Indoors, usually 1 or 2 walking lanes around, sometimes 3 or 4, depending on the size. I believe Mansfield has one.
We would not be able to put a track for the kid. I'm trying to think that we don't
This
have
isn't
to.
an indoor competitive track.
Yeah,
It's
no. It's
it's
just
a
like a
walking-
leisurely walking track
Walking.
above. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just
There's one at Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac has a building with 4 basketball courts. And this is just kind of my vision. And above it is 3 lanes of a track. So you could sit and watch the basketball from down there. Or if you want, you can go up on the 3-lane track and watch over it. Or you can walk the track while the basketball game is going on. So it's more of a leisurely thing. It wouldn't be a competitive indoor track like in some of the high
I
schools.
was just thinking about the selling point to the community.
Yeah.
If we had more things that we didn't have to bus kids to, like the swim meet, that would be great, not to have to bus them all over the state for that, because we have our own pool. What about the gym? Are we going to be able to do that or no? I know you met with
I
Donna.
don't see why not.
Yeah.
I think at this point, it's to put it out to the public and see what's needed. And obviously, let's say we go with this plan and we put it to referendum and it doesn't fail, just like we have questions on the budget. My thinking is on the referendum, there would be questions, is it, do you want to lessen the project? And then we look at what's cut out, or maybe we do that through the feedback of the public forums.
Well, I was disappointed to think that we couldn't go to referendum in November, but I can understand having to have the information meetings with the town and publicize this and then go to referendum in April. I guess that's the best plan.
I think so. I think it's a good plan.
Yeah. I had hoped it would be sooner, but I guess, we have to be practical too, because we do have to sell it to the
Exactly.
community.
I think selling it to the community, otherwise they're not going to go and vote yes if they don't know anything about it or if they're not educated.
Yes, and I was with my knit group, and 2 ladies approached me. They didn't know anything about this whole project, and I thought, oh my God. But then I have to realize I'm invested in it, so maybe other people have not, had a chance to explore it or talk about it. But we are planning. I'm planning to go tomorrow to the council meeting and I'm gonna ask them to assign a committee
Okay.
and assign some times, public hearing times, and maybe give us an idea of what date the referendum would be after we do all that, after we do public hearings.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
believe the 2022 referendum dates are probably already set because they're the same scheduled days every year, aren't
In
they?
November.
Oh, the November referendum?
Yeah, so you're talking about April.
Yeah, November's probably already set because
Yeah.
that's election usually. So right around then, and then the budget is always the same Tuesday of the month, and then, so yeah.
And we're gonna ask them to do a subcommittee. And we have a list of people that we'd like to see on the subcommittee. And those have to be the people with the expertise, you know? Because as far as I don't know what, I can look at a plan, but I don't know what is needed. So I think once we have a subcommittee, and we can go from there, that would be, I think, a good thing. Good start. And I'd like to see this get the subcommittee appointed soon. Because if we're gonna do information sessions and things like that, we need to have a subcommittee soon. Okay, does anybody else have any questions?
I would like to know who you're asking to be on the subcommittee.
Oh,
Donna created a document
I
that she's gonna read at the council meeting tomorrow. She already gave it to PBC. I think her thought is staff, me, you, and Debbie. This is what she's requesting. In the end, it's town council's decision, I think.
Just curious.
I believe she wants someone from PBC, from the commission, as well as probably Micah Hearn, the finance director, so Kevin,
Yep.
and then member of Commission on Aging, member of Parks and Rec, like I said, member of PBC, member of council.
yep, she gave me a list
I
here.
think that's,
Town council 2, town staff 4, and that includes the senior center director, community service, public works,
yeah, so Mike.
and the finance director, and the town manager, and the chief of police and economic development. And then Park and Recs Commission on Aging is 1 member. The swim coach, because we would need his input.
Swim coach or the AD.
Yeah,
This is, like I said, this is what Barbara's Donna's proposing.
and someone from the board of finance should be on the committee.
She was questionable about that one. If you had Kevin, would you need Board of Finance?
Well, the building commission, she crossed out.
Okay, that must have been after her meeting Tuesday
Yeah,
night, Thursday
Yeah,
night.
so, and the other commission members are welcome, you know, we want to be inclusive and we want to have everybody's input, but we do need a committee to start out with.
It's an awfully big committee,
Huh?
awfully big committee.
And yeah, and like I said, this was just Donna coming up with people she needs. I don't know that you necessarily need the chief of police. Maybe he needs to come to a meeting or two
Yeah,
to talk about
right.
things. Same with Kevin. He may not need to be on the committee, but he might need to come. Same with, obviously, we want the expertise for the pool about the swim coach and the AD, but do they need to go to every subcommittee meeting and every public forum kind of thing? So I
Yeah,
think
that-
this was just a group of people that she thinks need to be involved in the project. And then council is the one that has to establish a subcommittee and decide who's on it, I believe.
And that's what we would do. We would have a subcommittee and then we would invite
Right.
different people in on the nights that we're gonna discuss that would, like maybe the pool or maybe, the
Right.
you know, other things like that. That would be how we would do it. And I think that's a good plan. It really is. Okay, is there anything else that, anything else anyone has for Tom? No? Okay.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
very
Tom.
much
Thank you.
for coming, and if we have any other questions, Tom, where can you be reached?
What?
Do I have your phone number?
No,
You do not, but I can be reached through Tina or
Tina or,
Victoria thing. She works for Tom. Our new hire is Victoria.
oh, two
And-
Victoria.
Oh, that
And
could
she
be-
looks similar to
They do
Victoria.
a little, don't they?
Yes, she's got long brown hair like you, Victoria. And she's young like you.
Great.
Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much,
Have a
Tom.
nice
We'll
evening.
be in
Thank you,
touch.
Tom.
I don't know if she has glasses. Does she have glasses?
No. I was gonna say, she doesn't have glasses all the time
Are
either.
those
'cause that's
the
the
ones or those the same? The plans that you had there?
These are the similar plan. They have a more traditional.
They're more
exterior design.
pictures.
Can I have one of those?
They're more pictures
Thank you
type.
for the center. 'Cause I have the other ones.
Can I put one in the library?
Oh, it's a different plan?
It's different
Thank you.
pictures. Like you have all the lines, like when you were looking at your lines picture, I was looking at something like this.
Planning and zoning asked us.
Oh, that's
to
all
look
right.
at A more traditional exterior for the building. So the new packets have two options of the exterior, the more modern looking one and a more traditional.
Okay.
So I'll leave those with Jen.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
want it to be beautiful, but we want it to be practical.
Okay.
Okay.
Practical is good.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Maria, say hi to your mom and dad.
You can't go back.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. Well, I'm glad we did that because now once we get the subcommittee together, we can have other discussions and see what else, you know, we can have what we talked about tonight and then go on. But I will ask tomorrow night for if they can set up a subcommittee and if they can give us or set up some hearing days. We didn't know what to do about the hearings. Donna and I talked about that. They don't have like mothers clubs anymore. You know, like we used to go to the mothers club and talk to them or to the PTO. I understand some schools don't even have the PTOs.
Really?
So in the mothers clubs, they meet with the parents individually. So they, you know, parent meetings. So it's not like we used to do it years ago. So I was thinking that would be a good place to get to a lot of people. So instead, we're going to have to do public hearings and have people come in to ask questions like we did a few months back when we talked about the pool and everything. So
over a year.
Yeah. How long?
Over a year ago.
Over a year. Yes, that was over a year. But I think that's how we're going to do it. So tomorrow night I'll go to the council meeting and I have special permission to go inside.
It's very exciting.
I don't have to.
I hope they remember to unlock the door for you.
Well, I asked about that. I said, will I be able to get in or will I be left outside? She said, no, you'll be able to get in.
So good.
And usually I guess there's a custodian in the lobby at that time that people are coming in, you know, so they won't leave me outside. But okay, so does anybody else have anything that they want to discuss on that? No, we're all set. Okay. All right. Oh, I have a housing report from Joe Bajorski. He asked me to go to, now I have a conflict here because I'm going tomorrow night to the council meeting to discuss the senior center, community center. I also have to discuss housing. Joe Bajorski asked me. There are 40, just for your own information, 40 people on the wait list for senior housing. So he has asked, and I brought it with me tonight, he has asked us to submit a letter to the commissioner for the Connecticut Department of Housing. So he wrote a letter, and as I read it over, I said, Joe, there's nothing in this letter that I wouldn't say myself. So I asked him if we could do a petition type thing to his letter. So I've signed and I'll pass it along and everybody can sign and we'll submit this for additional housing. He's going to try to get go for some grants. I guess there's like grants, federal grants coming in now. So he wants to be able to apply for some of that. So,
Said Jim Mahoney or Joe?
Joe Bajorski.
Oh,
Joe Bajorski. Jim Mahoney did call me also and asked me if we would submit a letter. And I said, yes, we would, but it was funny because we got into another conversation. I said, well, I'm hoping that it will be, you know, it will be better than that center that we did downtown. He said he got grants for that and grants to take it out, those little islands there. So we're going to be, he's going to work with us. He's going to be the consultant. And hopefully, I mean, how long, and I said this to Joe Badorsky. I said, how many years have we been talking about the senior house?
6, 7 years.
Oh my God.
First of all, high school, we were tied up with that land thing.
Yeah. How long has this been? And he says, I know that, Barbara. He says, we have been talking about it. He says, but if we can get this letter in and maybe get some of that money, that would be good too, you know? So I've signed mine and I'll pass it around and the commission members can sign. And then I'll submit that to, I'll call Joe and ask him if he wants me to send it directly or if he wants me to send it to him, if he has a packet of stuff that he wants to do. So I'll check with him tomorrow about that.
Mrs. Bruno, right?
Yeah, whoever is on that.
And you
Your
got,
department.
and
I know. I found another one, not going to treat that one.
Down there.
yes,
Rather than trying to climb under the table.
And I couldn't believe that there were, oh, and that's another thing he asked me to tell you. There's 40 people on the wait list for senior housing. He said, if you know anyone that is considering in the future being on, wanting to be in senior housing, he said, tell them to get their name on the list because the people that are on the list, if and when the new housing comes in, will be the ones that will be given first priority. Now, anybody who's living here, if you're living here and you want to move over there, you'll be given priority. If you're on a list, you'll be given priority as opposed to somebody just signing.
Do you really think so? Because I was told when I came here, they told me I didn't do that.
You what?
I was told by Mary
yeah.
that they wouldn't do that.
Oh, I thought I had heard
They're
that.
not going to allow you to apply.
Oh, I thought I had heard that if you were in senior housing already, you would give first priority.
First priority. That's right.
Oh, yes.
And then if you're on the list,
when I came in,
That's what I had heard.
so maybe they changed it.
Maybe.
yeah, and then if you're on the list, that's
Yeah.
another.
Well, the only list that's open right now is Percival Heights.
Yeah.
Well,
And you have to be within a certain income guideline.
Lottery. I mean,
Well,
the thing is, we're already there. I'm already there.
What?
So it's kind of silly to put my name on the list. You could survive, but I'm already living there. It doesn't make sense.
No,
on the list so that if they,
The new
if
building.
you don't already
building,
live in
if
it,
you're on
The
the
new-
list
the-
when
the
the
list
new
of the
building
new
opens,
construction.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you would be given priority as opposed to somebody that just signed on to the
what were
list.
you saying, Lois?
I said to get in on it. They still have a lottery.
Right, you get on the list, but it doesn't mean where you're on the list, you get a spot. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? They take the 40 names and they pull? Is that how it works? Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what I heard.
Well, he told me there's 8 people wait lists for Percival and 32 wait lists for Marjorie.
Yeah.
So it's 40 people.
Right, but right now, the only one that's open is Percival Heights. Like they're not taking applications for Marjorie Moore. And the way I understand for Percival Heights, you have to be within a certain income. And if you're not, you cannot fill out an application.
That's true.
Right?
Isn't that the same for all of them?
So what he's saying doesn't make sense.
So you can be on a lower income for Marjorie Moore, is that it? The income level?
No, March, well, yeah, I don't know.
Marjorie Moore, yeah.
Is it 1,400 a month or?
Right, I just know that
14,000
certain
years.
women have applied for Percival Heights, but couldn't because I believe their income was not enough.
Yeah, that's, I had somebody. that
So
was
they couldn't.
1 year.
Mary's told me more than once I couldn't get in now.
Yeah, so.
I guess once your income drops, if you're there, then you can't do much about it.
I just know
They can't
that
throw you out.
there was a few ladies that are members here that applied for Percival Heights and their incomes were not enough, so they could not.
And
Put in
that's
an
hard,
application.
you know. Where do these people get housing? I mean, that's.
You know, what could be done for them? Nothing.
You wait for Marjorie Moore because I think that's lower. They accept a lower income.
And there's also more people on the list.
And I think Yeah, Marjorie Moore, I don't know if they get more assistance there, I don't know.
You have to, no, well, what is it? They give you a lower rent, but you have to pay your own heat. Is it on your own heat and something else?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it's your own heat.
It's different between the two.
Yeah.
I know that, there is a difference.
Well, when I had this discussion with Joe, I said, you know, you have to realize that people are not going to be able to afford $1,100 a month. He said no, and there's a terminology that I had to use in the letter. He said you cannot say senior housing. You have to put the terminology affordable housing for seniors. So that's how we had to word it, you know. But he said that people, when everything is said and done, there'll be subsidies and grants and stuff like that for them to take advantage of. So, and Mary Cunningham is gone, overseeing these places. So I understand now it's a what would you call that?
Interim?
A company that does it?
No, there always was a company.
Yeah, but now she's not coming up here. She's working out of the office down there. We were told that she wouldn't be coming up to us at all.
Why?
I have no clue.
She was up one day with Sandy Turner. There was always a company involved with Berlin Housing Authority. DeMarco Management. That went into place after they had the
had
incident.
a letter. What was that letter that we had?
With the
there was a letter there that was talking
after
about
the embezzlement issue, long years ago.
Oh, that was years ago.
Right, but they brought in DeMarco Management Company to manage Berlin Housing Authority. So like Mary, even though she worked here, she actually would work for DeMarco Management. So she retired, and now Liz is the new, what they call resident coordinator.
Does she come here?
Haven't seen very much of her, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, she's down mostly in the office at Marjorie Moore.
Oh, okay.
I met her just last week. She came over with Sandy Turner.
Yeah, but you know, there's nobody working on because I'm supposed to be in our office. They said she's not.
So is she servicing this area also?
She's supposed to be. I'm assuming she's taken over the same responsibilities as Mary. She says her hours are 9 to 4.
We used to see Mary. She'd come up. She'd come up and she'd be there. I guess maybe because
from what they say, you cannot call the office when you got a problem. You have to call DeMarco Corporation.
You have to call DeMarco. That's
so. Well, and I think she's due, so I think she's just getting acclimated. I don't know if she has other responsibilities, but
yeah,
since Mary left, yeah.
So
well, I would hope she's going to service both areas because that's not fair to these people if they don't get.
I don't know.
Don't get a liaison person.
Does Carol come up?
I think last year put such a
pressure on.
Carol comes up, right?
Yeah. Now we're.
Who's Carol?
So you guys should ask.
Well, she was up. I saw her doing walking one day. I wish they'd start that.
She was here today.
Over the other stuff. It was nice to have somebody come up at least once or twice a week to walk with girls. Because there's some of them that like to go around like that.
Yeah, so ask her. Speak up and ask them.
Well, of course, all the programs are off right now because of because of last year. Everything's all messed
I would
up.
just
We don't have any planned activities. Nobody has anything to look forward to. So a lot of us really aren't very happy.
Did they plan things before for you?
Well, yeah, we used to have a lot of things before.
Yeah, they used to do a different occasional event for them.
But now because of the COVID, they can't get together, is that it?
I have no idea.
Probably.
I mean, I just met Liz. I had,
I mean, now
I talk more to Mary.
Now they're saying that we don't have to wear our masks and stuff, but they're still telling us they're not going to open our record. It's just flat no, and I don't understand why.
So ask.
It was only a little room.
So ask.
Okay, so Joe Bedrowski is still housing authority.
Yes.
So is there questions that you want?
We have to call
the commission to ask
when we're going to get our room open. That works for me.
Right. Yes, something to do with the
Call
health
and ask.
director, I think, right?
What?
Doesn't it have something to do with the health director, Charlie Brown? Charlie Brown.
Get our directives from Charlie.
I know.
Senior
Well,
center.
he should be ready to relax it now. I mean, this is getting on.
Isn't that funny
still
that
wearing my
nobody
mask.
knows who Charlie reports to? That's very interesting to me. You know, I worked for the state. Every supervisor had a supervisor. All of a sudden, nobody knows who he reports to. Very interesting.
He has a board, the Central Connecticut Health District has a board of directors.
Oh, really? And how do you find out who they are?
Probably their
People from all the
website.
towns on the board of directors.
Do we have
There's so
someone?
many people from Berlin, so many from, right, Rocky Hill,
Newington,
Weathersfield,
Rocky
and
Hill,
Newington.
Weathersfield.
So who's on?
Maybe
for
you
our
can
club?
look that up on the computer.
I have no idea who's on the board of directors.
Yeah, there's people from town.
Probably
There's a board of
probably the
directors.
CCHD website might have it.
Well, I was told.
There used to be Ray, what's his name? Ray
Drama from water
Durama.
control.
From water control. He used to be on it. Pat Chenko used to be on it. I don't know if she still is.
No, I can call Pat.
Pat
I'll
Chenko,
call Pat
whatever.
and ask her what tells us.
So,
Yeah, I don't think she's doing.
Let me
No, she's
know.
probably not still there. but
Is she
can
on the
probably
board
tell
of
me who it
directors?
is.
She was, I guess.
Yeah. Well, she worked for the, yeah, she worked for the.
She worked for the state.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did. She's retired, so I
yeah, she retired.
Well,
I
would
know
she
where
still
it's
have a
like,
connection there?
Yeah.
So I was just told to call the governor's office. You know,
for what reason?
Please
to
hold.
find out. Yeah, to find out who Charlie Brown's supervisor is.
Did you call him and ask him?
I
You
don't want
wouldn't
to talk to
call
him. I talked to him already. That
Oh.
did absolutely nothing. So I see no
I would
point.
just
in-
ask him. Who's your supervisor?
And I was very disappointed in Donna Vish because I called her office trying to go that route. And I didn't hear from Donna. I heard from her associate who was, we didn't make a good connection on that conversation. I'll tell you that.
What did you call for?
To find out who Charlie Brown's supervisor is.
Oh,
Look
I
at
figured
look
Donna
on
would
look
know.
on look on the health district website. If they have a board of directors, it's got to be on there.
yeah, because they have to do an annual report, don't they?
Yeah, I think as a
Yeah.
non or
Look on
whatever
their
board of directors.
CCHD website.
I think it's just cchd.org or something. I didn't even know they had a board of directors.
Okay, in the meantime, Ann, if you talk to your friend, let me know what she says.
Yeah,
Okay,
she'll talk to me. I mean, she may not be able to help me much, but she'll at least
well,
talk to me.
yeah, we still have some
Probably
insight.
don't.
Okay, let's see what else. We did senior center.
It's just me.
Okay, yep, you're next, Tina.
My report is light because today our assistant director started. So I was training her and it was just, Jenny even came over to help us cover phones so I could give her a tour of the building. But then I was training her the rest of the day. So I didn't have a chance to access the finance info for my 2 accounts.
What's her last name?
Helberg.
Her name is Victoria Helberg.
H-E-
Hellberg. She was the program coordinator at the South Windsor Senior Center.
You guys will like her.
Yeah.
She's
very.
she's
sweet
good.
lady. She's very
jumped right
excited.
in.
She can't wait to meet you all. Jen was part of the interviews. We had some really good candidates for the job. It was a hard decision to make. It was kind of between her and another young lady. And we went with the one that had the senior center experience already. She has a degree in gerontology from CCSU. Her mentor at CCSU was one of her references, which I spoke to. So she got high praises all around from her references. So Kay met her today. What was your impression of her?
I said to her, take your mask off. I want to see what you look like.
Yeah. She's very sweet, very personable.
Yeah.
She jumped right in, not tentative at all. was answering the phones, and
So she used to work at the South
Windsor Senior Center,
Doing programs.
which is a very active senior center.
And I understand a very beautiful one.
Yeah, they're in
I've
an
never
old
been to
school
South Windsor.
like us, but I think they have the whole thing now. It used to be the senior center and Park and Rec. Park and Rec has moved out, she said.
Never went
She
to
has
that
a
one.
very nice smile and she seems very interested
Yes, she
in
is.
what's going on
Yes.
here. And said she's very glad to be here.
Yeah, she is very.
Does she live in the area?
No, she's from East Windsor. She lives in East
Oh,
Windsor.
okay. And what about Cheryl? Is she gonna stay with us?
Oh yeah, Cheryl. Yeah,
Yeah, because Cheryl is.
Cheryl's our
Amazing.
part-time program coordinator. So, yeah, Cheryl. If it wasn't for Cheryl, I wouldn't have made it through
Yeah.
the last few months because I was able to get Cheryl's hours increased through an MOU with the White Collar Union, so she could help me out. Because we did 8 vaccine clinics, we vaccinated 260 or more. Because we just had one recently, a small one. So approximately, say 275 seniors we vaccinated. So Cheryl was a big help with that and doing signups and doing transportation and helping me out. So Cheryl's back to her 14 hours now that Victoria is. Yeah. And for Carol's replacement, we had hired a fill-in that was going to help when Carol was alive and here, when she was going through her treatment, and then the pandemic hit, and she never was able to come on board because we were closed. So we have brought her on now, but she does not want the position for the 14 and a half hours that it is. So she's just going to be a fill-in, and we're going to have to go out to post the job, Carol's job, to hire somebody to replace Carol.
What did she want, more hours?
No, the per diem person wants to stay per diem. She doesn't want to commit to coming in every day for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So she's willing to come in when we have an event or when the person who we hire needs a break, but
Yeah,
she didn't want to commit to the full 14 and a half hours a week.
right. And her name is Donna Giannoni, and she is a retired nurse. Very lovely lady. She started last week sitting with Cheryl, and she's actually coming in tomorrow just to get her acclimated so that when she has to fill in, she's on board. But in the meantime, Jen and I are working on posting for the part-time receptionist job, which is 14 and a half hours.
I'm glad to hear Cheryl's gonna stay.
Oh yeah, Cheryl.
She is just a wonderful bubble.
Yeah,
She's
she
just,
is.
you know,
She
so
gets
good.
very excited about things.
Yes, so we are very happy to have her.
Yeah, so, and then just, renters rebate, that's through Jamie Miller, April 1st, October 1st. And as of today, we have 777 seniors with their key tags. We had a number of residents join the center during the past 12 months, 14 months. We had a lot during the pandemic that joined us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yep, they heard about the stuff that we were doing and wanted to be a part of it, so they joined. They heard about the robocalls, they heard about the drive-through events, so we had a lot of new people join, which is
I
good.
think the robocalls are really good
Yeah,
because they give you so much information.
Yeah,
you know.
so our next drive-through event is Friday, and we have
Hot dogs.
hot dogs, but we're up, it's the most we've had. I think we're up to like 130 people.
Oh my God.
So, but we got Victoria.
Yeah, I gotta check my
In
schedule.
South Windsor, they do 200. Their drive-throughs, they have like 200. So she's experienced. She's ready.
Oh my goodness. I didn't sign up for the hot dog
Ready
thing,
to
but
put
I'm
the vaccine
sure.
in line, wait for us.
Yep. She did vaccine clinics too. Yeah, in South Windsor.
I want to ask one other thing. What will be the protocol when we come back to the senior center about wearing masks?
We don't know that yet. We're meeting with Roche next week.
Next week, I think
Yeah.
we scheduled something. As of now, I mean, we had a meeting today for top managers, and as town hall starts to open its doors, the ruling is we can't mandate because it's a public building. So we can't mandate people wearing masks. If you're not vaccinated, you are supposed to wear masks, but we can't ask people. So it's all kind of the honor system, just like it is. I mean, at grocery stores and Target and Walmart, they're all saying if you're not vaccinated, wear a mask, but they're not asking people because you can't.
I know.
So it's all based on the honor system. Now that the CDC is saying you don't need to wear masks if you're vaccinated, it's kind of, I mean, I know personally, I'll probably still wear mine quite a bit. So it's just me. I have a kid who's not going to get vaccinated for a long time, probably. So I don't want to take the chance of, you know, catching it and care, even though I'm vaccinated, people that are vaccinated have still gotten it. I mean, look at the 8 on the Yankees who were all vaccinated, but got it. So it's,
and one of them had already had the virus.
right, exactly. So it's still, it's still out there, but because we can't mandate it, we're kind of just, I think the consensus is going to be just, you know, you have to do what you're comfortable with.
You know, and it's such an uncomfortable situation. I was going to Stop and Shop yesterday. I didn't know if I should wear my mask, you know, even though the sign out front says, and a woman came on and one guy came on out without a mask. A woman came out with a mask. So I said, I have a mask in my hand. I said, should I be wearing a mask in there? She got upset with me because I think she was wondering why I was even asking her. And she said, well, I'm wearing my mask anyway. So I said, well, okay, I'll just put mine on. And I did. But, you know, I don't have a problem doing that. It's just that you don't know what to do.
Right. And I think like I sent an email to my staff today and I said, out of respect for the residents and the public, if a resident comes into my office and they have a mask on, I'm going to put mine on because I don't know why they're wearing it, whether they've been vaccinated or not, or whether they're just doing it to protect their family. So out of respect for that person, I'll wear mine on while I'm talking to this individual. So, right.
Maybe they were coughing on the way in.
Right. So.
And I think when you go to grocery stores and there's a big crowd,
right,
more people, you're more apt to wear it.
Right.
Or you know, if you're going out to lunch with somebody and you're sitting outside, you're certainly not.
It's
Well, I just think there has to be some better guidelines because I think it's such confusion now, you know?
Well, I guess
so they'll come up with some guidelines for people, but you can't ask.
And I was going to say, I think even when they say the guidelines, there's going to be a lot of us that just want to wear it anyway.
Yeah. Right. I think
I'm going to wear mine in church from now on.
You'll
every year when you go to, you sit in the pew and these people are coughing and hacking.
I mean, I got through the winter and none of my family, my kid who's in school and we never even got head colds this year.
Didn't get anything.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I like that. So I might continue to wear a mask in the winter.
You got to do what's comfortable for you.
Yeah. And they said there
was only one flu for the whole year.
Yeah. No flu shot, no flu exposure. So.
Right. Flu numbers were down dramatically. It's got its benefits.
Influenza. We wiped it out, right?
Yeah, and people are going to do that. They're going to wear their masks.
And there are some countries that do that.
Yeah, I mean, my brother is
out of respect for other people.
My brother's living in China. He's been there 4.5 years now, and he's like, how's US doing with masks? Because I've been doing it since I moved out here 4 years ago, before COVID hit.
And you see the videos
it's
of them,
normal.
As they're on the street shopping, they're all shoulder to shoulder. They're all wearing masks.
It's just normal out there.
Yeah. So, well, people, I think we had a very productive meeting.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we were able to meet in person. This was so nice. And I'll go to the council meeting tomorrow night, and then I will, well, I won't see you now until June. But if there's anything important, I certainly will call and let you know. But in the meantime, our major thing is to set up a subcommittee. So if we can get the council to do that, we'll be in good shape, okay? All right, if there's no other business, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I can do that.
Okay. Very good, thank you very much. And thank you for being here in person. This is so nice.